fair,
assets.
Donald Trump doesn't need to do anything because people who like Donald Trump fucking love Donald Trump. It doesn't matter if he said he was going to give the $6 million he raised to veterans organizations and only gave $3 million.
It's bigger than that. You're absolutely right with what you said.
Sounds like
but
a
it's
YouTube
bigger than
charity
that.
drive.
When you look at the voting numbers, look at the voter turnout, especially the compared.
Oh, it's huge turnout for a primary.
He's bringing. It's not just that.
He's bringing new people.
He's bringing
tens
new
of thousands of
leave
them.
Without
primary has nothing to do with the general election. New
You
people are
think?
coming out. I agree, and new people will come out to vote for Donald Trump. Absolutely, but you're seeing new people coming out to vote. Yes, but
More
primary elections, there's
than
very few actual people who vote in primary elections. You know, you talked. I watched a very quick snippet of your last video where you're talking about the Hispanic vote going to Donald Trump and Nevada, and it was like I read an article about that, and like the entire Republican primary Hispanic vote was like 50 people.
No, that's not true. The number was it was like 75,000 total voters, and something like 12% of that, and I think that comes to like 9,700 voters, and then he took 40-something% of that, and that came to like 5,700 of the like 9,700. This is pretty rough math. But,
All right,
but those are the
well, we got different sources for our information.
I like
I
Kyle's
used to
source
vote
more,
results.
so that's what I believe.
Well, it's a
You can
true
look it up.
American.
No, yeah.
Well, all right. So all you need to do is look up what percentage of that vote was Hispanic. Take that percentage from 75,000, which was the total.
You
voting.
seem really into Donald Trump, man.
I'm not. I'm really into this political cycle. I know a lot about Bernie Sanders too. I just don't think he's got a chance, and he's low energy. Low energy.
Oh,
He can't get too high energy.
Bernie
He's a
Sanders
pacemaker.
ain't no low energy. He screams all the time. He's like
He
a
needs to be
professional
able to hear
screamer.
himself talk. That's why he's screaming.
Hey, that's why. And you don't think that Donald Trump loves to hear himself talk? Man, I've never seen somebody love to hear themselves talk with Donald Trump.
He's an age joke. Yeah, it's fun. I like
It's
that
an age joke.
That's what he's saying. That's why he's saying that Bernie speaks loudly, because otherwise he wouldn't be able to hear himself.
Oh, I get it.
There we are. So, but they're all old. Like, I think, how old would Hillary be if she took office? Is it?
69.
Oh my God, they are all old. We are
like-
gonna have an old president, you guys.
I think Hillary's like 69,
We are.
68, 69,
Something like that. Trump would be 70. I don't know if he's 70 now or if he would be when he
I
entered
think Hillary
office.
and Trump are the same age.
And
Both
then
60.
Bernie would be 74. That's just surprisingly old to me.
Well, I think it's really interesting to see what's going to happen tonight. Obviously, you'll have Rubio what he said is he's going to go round 2 on Donald. You know, just more attacks. I'm sure he'll use Mitt Romney's comments today as fuel for that. But I bet the Donald Trump brain. I wanted to say the Donald Trump team, but I think the team might just be him with a piece of paper like Eminem jotting down insults, like like nodding his head with like a do-rag on Trump Force One flying into Detroit.
It does seem an awful lot like if Trump had advisors, there are a bunch of things he would not have said.
Knees weak, arms are heavy, lightweight, motherfucker.
An interesting thing about Trump. So I watched his speech today, the one where he talked about the air conditioners and such. And he's like, my wife told me to go easy, to act presidential. He says, you know how you talked presidentially at on Super Tuesday and everyone loved it? She's like, do that. And he's like, but I've got incoming, it's like a war term. And when you got incoming, you fire it back. And he was basically like, yeah, I know my wife wants me to be presidential right now, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, he talks about his son, too. It's like, it's just a family business.
Yeah.
His campaign.
I had never heard the son speak. I'd only seen pictures of him, and I thought he looked like a real douche, to be honest. And I still do, if I'm being completely honest. He's got like this blonde, completely slicked back hair, and his bone structure isn't he looks like
it's shocking to me that
a
Donald Trump might raise a guy who looks like a douche.
in the Harry Potter universe, he would definitely be a Slytherin. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
I hear you.
And I saw him on stage the other night, and he's trying to like edge in next to the Donald, and Christie's standing behind him like a fucking pit bull.
What are the odds? What are the odds
But-
that Donald Trump announces his running mate and it's his son or his wife, his hot young wife?
No.
He's already said he's going to pick a Washington insider who knows how to work
Chris
the system and
Christie.
get things done.
Oh, well, that wouldn't be
Yeah,
Chris
you
Christie,
gotta
but
have
Chris
that New
Christie's
York,
an
New Jersey
interesting
ticket.
choice because New Jersey's a state that goes Democrat, but it's not so solid that Christie couldn't turn it around. I mean, heck, Christie's a Republican himself. Jersey goes blue all the time. And while people might think of it, if you're watching the show, as one of the smaller states, if it's not the most densely populated state, it definitely was when I lived there. So it's among America's most densely populated states. It has more, are they called delegates? Electoral votes than you might guess.
So what I was getting at about Trump's
big
son,
swing.
though, is I heard him speak the other day on Fox News, and I didn't even know it was him speaking. I was listening to like Fox News Radio or something like that. And he'd been speaking for maybe 3 minutes before Megyn Kelly or whoever the fuck said, well, thank you, blah, blah, Trump. I think he's Donald Trump Jr. Yeah. Thanks for coming on. And I was like, wow, I was really blown away. He's very well spoken, better than his father, which isn't saying much because as we've evaluated before, he speaks at about a 6th grade level with his vocabulary, that is.
Super effective 6th grader.
Speaks to the
Incredibly
common
effective.
man.
There you go.
Super effective 6th grader. His style of speaking is one that I think that I could learn from.
It's so
I
fascinating.
was in embarrassing YouTube drama not long ago, and
That's
I was
always fun.
Oh.
Good old embarrassing YouTube drama. I've been there.
So I'm not firing any shots here. There's probably people groaning, but what I didn't do as well as I could have is like the sound bite, right? I'm spending 6 minutes explaining my side of it, and the other side is like, I'm gonna make something up, like Woody's too tall, and that's it. Like, Woody's too tall. God damn it, he's stomping on little people or something like that. And it was like, man, like their message is so short, so succinct, like memorable. It works. And that's how Trump does it too, And when Trump says, "I'm not going to be presidential, I've got incoming. I'm going for the cojones." I'm misquoting him, but it's like, man, this guy is effective at battling with these other people. He's
I mean, he's a host.
feeling it.
He's known how to. Yeah, he's a good talker. And like, it is amazing. And he frames things very simply, and it can resonate very easily. Like, it's very clear that there's winners and there's losers. And there's big and there's small, and like there's winners and like right now, from Donald Trump's perspective, America is losing, and like that can resonate really fast, really
also
hard.
just the way he talks, you don't feel like every single thing he says has been read over and poured over by like 30
well, that's
people
because it
before
hasn't.
him,
Because like,
making sure.
it's also the case that like at this point, because of our extremely like distributed media system now, it doesn't matter if he says stuff that's just really fucking wrong. Like he's wrong. He lies. I don't know if he lies.
He does.
Or if he just is saying things that are like clearly untrue, but he doesn't know. But
He
he
does
does that.
tell as many lies as Rubio. Rubio really does. There are a lot of lies.
It is difficult to quantify lies, but when I watch Donald Trump talk, I am always very surprised by when he just says something and he just says it very factually, and I'm like, that's not right. And I look it up and it's like, I was right, it's not right. But like, does it matter anymore? Is the point? Does it matter if you say true things anymore when people are reading Breitbart over here and they're reading MSNBC over here? Like, does it matter? Because like if you get your news from Fox News and Breitbart, you're not going to hear about Donald Trump being like, if he's the nominee, you're not going to hear about his lies.
On that
you're
note,
never going to hear him.
So YouTube was invented during a fairly recent presidential race. I forget if it was Obama's first term. It might have been Kerry, the Kerry Bush, for his reelection. When would YouTube have started?
YouTube came
started
out
in 2006.
In 2006. So that would have
5-6, but it like started to get big around Obama's first campaign.
Okay. So Obama's first term was the term of YouTube impacting debates, and I thought it was going to change the world. I was really excited about this. I was like, we are going to have a fact-based political competition here, an election, because everyone who says the wrong stuff is just going to get roasted. It'll be so easy. And if you change your position, there'll be a video uploaded of you saying the old thing on YouTube. And it hasn't worked out that way at all. PolitiFact is there. Donald Trump, I don't know if it's current, but there was a time when PolitiFact, rating the things that Trump said, he was the biggest liar in the whole race. And now, of course, they don't look at everything they say, but he had the most lies. And yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if PolitiFact tears you apart. It doesn't matter if YouTube videos make you look silly. It's still a likability contest.
It's a likability contest, and it's kind of it's kind of a who can get who more scared contest. And there's something really, really scary for people about Trump's rhetoric that's scarier than saying, like, there's billionaires who want to take your money and they control the American political system. But, like, when it comes down to, like, feeling threatened, both by job and my family's safety by external threats that are not that realistic, that is much scarier than thinking that there's some richy rich pants who's going to get even richer.
So
people are doing all right.
I recently had a thought about this whole thing as it pertains to kind of the conspiracy theorist at large, which I don't think of myself as. Although, you start watching one of those Netflix documentaries and you'll start believing that George Bush is an alien or something like that.
Yeah, you don't want to go down those holes.
Chiz is big. Chiz is going to watch this. Chiz, baby, you believe anything you see on YouTube.
Oh, Chiz and I have had this discussion already. I proposed this to Chiz and I bounced it off of him. I said this because, all right, so just in case you don't know, there are people out there who believe that there's sort of a group of overlords who control everything. There's sort of a new world order, and there's a small group of individuals who control the entire globe and everything that goes on in it.
I think Frank Caparulo was one of those guys.
He is nut job. Now, if that is
not co-signing on that,
ridiculous. If that were true, though, then there's no way Trump can come to power. Think about that. Like, there's no way you have a Donald Trump coming to power if there is, in fact, like reptilian overlords pulling strings, any of that shit. They just wouldn't allow it.
Donald Trump is a reptilian overlord.
Dr. Chiz watched a YouTube cartoon about how aliens like populated the earth and led the Egyptians and all this crazy stuff. And when I looked at it,
Jesus,
when I thought it was ridiculous, he said I needed to be more open-minded.
He was toying with you though, right? He wasn't really falling for that.
No, he is really prone to believe in wild theories, especially if they're aged. I'm not saying that he believes Bush is behind 9/11 or anything, but if you tell him that reptilian overlords stacked the pyramids and this is proof because of the way the rocks slid on each other, he's like, well, I guess I'm in the know now.
Yeah. What else could it be? A series of levers? They couldn't have figured out levers and fulcrums back in Egypt.
I love you, Chiz, but you're half crazy.
Rocks.
So another thing that's interesting about this whole Trump thing, and I said
we're still talking about Trump.
Yeah,
right?
This is the last Trump topic, I promise.
Okay.
We're going to dead dogs after this, so we'll cheer up. You'll feel much better. For Trump to dead dogs, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. So about a week ago, 10 days ago, I texted our friend Chiz, who's kind of the manager of the show and sets all our stuff up for us, and I told him I think that Donald Trump should fear for his life. I think that there is a better than normal chance when it comes to candidates that someone will try to kill Donald Trump because his views are so extreme and he's got so many people on both sides of our political power systems so upset and so angry. And sure enough, I see today there's several Facebook groups and Twitter campaigns who are devoted to the idea or the goal of assassinating Donald Trump.
I got a thing for that. Apparently, he's being protected and they're watching out because there was a credible assassination threat from some Russian group. That's as much as I know.
That's weird. He seems to love Russia.
I know, right? He's always
Russians fear him. They know the wall's coming. They know the wall's coming.
Sky walls.
Putin's great. I mean, how else are you gonna control the media but by killing them sometimes? Putin's awesome.
Putin will give you the polonium poke. You never know. He'll put you down. He's done it before. We all know it. The guy is ex-KGB. That's what he's all about.
You got to admit, Putin's a strong leader.
Oh, strong.
Oh yeah, accurate.
Yes. It's not the leader you want. Is it?
So, Hank, I want your prediction.
Okay.
Who is going to be the next president of the United States? Let's just leave it that. And just be honest. Who do you think has the best chance? Not who you want. You can tell us who you want.
No, I mean, the person who has the best chance to be the next president of the United States is Hillary Clinton, and that's because of Donald Trump, largely. I think that Donald Trump will get the nomination. I think Hillary will get the nomination, and I think that Hillary will win. And I think Hillary would have had a hard time winning against someone besides Donald Trump, but he is so polarizing. He's going to give a lot of energy, people voting for someone who isn't Donald Trump, despite the fact that people aren't very excited about Hillary Clinton. But frankly, like, it's a safe vote. She's done this. She's been there. this is stuff that like.
So what happens then if Hillary
is a professional politician who has done a lot of this stuff?
If Hillary is indicted on criminal charges, or a more likely, at least more likely than that scenario, that someone very close to her, an aide, a staff, or someone like that, is indicted on some sort of criminal charges, because
I mean. Donald Trump is right now in the middle of a civil lawsuit.
Can I interrupt you?
A civil lawsuit,
Listen,
not an FBI criminal investigation.
The thing about Trump is people forgive him for his flaws, right?
Yeah,
Donald Trump came out with an autobiography, and in it he said, if I told you the story, and I'm going to paraphrase here, of the women I fucked who seemingly were in happy marriages and all the times I cheated on my wife, this would be a bestseller, right? That's pretty. I'm sure I messed it up a little bit, but that's pretty much on target with what he says in this book.
Right.
And everyone is like, well, yeah, the Trumpster.
You know what I think would end us in a Trump presidency more than an indictment of Hillary Clinton is a major terrorist attack. I think that if there was a major terrorist attack in America, if a bunch of people popped out in New York City with assault rifles and started shooting people and they were not from America, I think Donald Trump would win the presidency. And I think that's a pretty scary thing when you're thinking about how the president's gonna get elected and who how one might think Donald Trump would be as a president, which I think would be an international disaster. I think that internationally people would really, really dislike America, be pretty afraid of us.
Oh, we wouldn't want that.
I'll tell you what would do it.
Hey, no, you wouldn't want that. You wouldn't want people in other countries to dislike America. Why would you want that? Why would you want the allies that we have in the war against ISIS?
No, of course not. I was joking, saying that they already don't like us. Like, go on any forum and it's all just America bashing.
People talk about how people don't like America, but people want to move to America. People want to come here. People want to live the American dream. There are a lot of places where America has a very good image, and there are a lot of and when it doesn't have a good image, it's because 70% of the people dislike us and 30% of the people like us. We need to talk to those 30% of those people and figure out how to work together, not because America represents more than America. America represents more than you and me. It's about democracy, it's about freedom, and it's about how those things lead to better lives for people. And if we can show that, not only through our own having pretty good lives and chilling out on the internet having a good time, but also helping those people have better lives by letting them control their destiny, by helping democracy come to those places, then that's what we want. And having a leader who basically sees the world as winners and losers, and America needs to be the winner, and it doesn't matter if every fucking other person is the loser to get there. We don't want that. I don't want that. That's very scary, and that's the kind of thing that literally could be decided by 12 terrorists popping out. I don't care what he thinks. I care what people think. I care what how people think about the Trump presidency, how people think about America. If he's talking about it like this, then it's definitely how people are going to perceive it.
So Hank, I mostly agree with you. But I do feel like the fair trade deals we have now aren't that fair. No one's paying for movies outside of some Western countries.
Well, I mean, that's part of what we're trying to guarantee with our trade deals. I mean, you see, I'm less worried about
I would rather
than I am about intellectual property, than I am about China, just straight up. If something is published as a patent, that's basically showing China how to do it. And they don't have any.
Okay, so I worked for Cisco, right? Cisco, the company that makes the routers and stuff. Mm-hmm. And this Chinese company named, it starts with an H, but I think it's pronounced Huawei. And they made our routers. And they made copies of our routers entirely. Yeah. But wait, I want to tell you, they didn't just make similar routers. There'd be mistakes in the circuit boards, and they copied those. If Cisco had a router number and the model was 2940, they would name theirs 2940S, right? So you knew exactly, oh, you want this one? Here's the Huawei copy of it. Their instruction manuals, they just photocopied the Cisco instruction manual. They didn't rewrite it or anything. It still had Cisco copyright in by the page number on every page.
No, I feel you, but this isn't the stuff that Donald Trump is talking about.
No, it is. He's saying
these are things that we need to deal with. But like this isn't the rhetoric, and I don't see any like legitimate policy coming out of this campaign, and nobody thinks there is.
I do. So when Trump says, "Look, we're going to start tariffing their stuff," we're putting tariffs. Is tariffing a word? I don't know, a verb.
Yes.
It's a verb. All right. Yeah, we're going to start putting. We're going to terrify their stuff. I like it.
Terrify the Chinese.
Let me go. Like in today's speech, he basically said, we're going to put tariffs on their stuff because we're not getting free trade. When we ship stuff to China, they make us go again and they reject it and again and again and again, apparently on like safety violations, which is like bullshit. They'll like just make up a thing as a reason to reject U.S. exports. And then you eventually have to pay some big fine, which is like a tariff, to get your things past the safety violation. And that's how you do business with China. That's what he's saying. We're not having free trade here. We're having trade where we get screwed on our exports and their imports roll right in. Happy-go-lucky.
Not to mention the devaluation of their currency, but that's a whole nother issue, and we've done an hour of political talk. So, hey,
Jesus